I'll turn on the recording right now. And I'm very happy to see you actually joining from different countries. Oh, hello, Luis. How are you? So basically, I hope you're going to have a great time. Today's topic is it seems to be very interesting to many of people involved in web development industry. And Maciej will actually speak more about it, but I'll just show you. I did a LinkedIn poll online and on how many people actually have been using or are using ACF blocks. So we got 25 votes online, and the split is almost 50-50%, which actually gives Maciej a very good introduction in saying, Maciej, why do you think people use ACF blocks? Why not something else?
First of all, I think the main reason is, and because some of them didn't like React, or was or were using ACF before, and if they were using ACF before, jumping into ACF blocks was very simple, just like me.
Yeah, we're getting some chat experiences already.
Oh, exactly. I didn't want to say it this way, but yes, I'm not a big fan of React too, and yes, for me this was also one of the reasons why I decided to use ACF.
Well, I'm glad you've chosen this topic because it seems there is a quite interest about it. So without further ado, and since the time is passing and still we have a game to play in the end, and who has the fastest finger and who's going to win some awards. So my dear audience, here is Maciej Palmowski. Maciej, if you'd like to share a screen, or if I can.
Okay.
Let me know.
So
I'll just make you a co-host just in case you have all the relevant.
Okay, wait a second. Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So today, as you all know, I will speak about creating Gutenberg blocks using advanced custom fields blocks. So let's start with some basics. What is Gutenberg? Because I'm giving this speech for some time from now, and I remember when the first time I was talking about it and I asked this question, there were really lots of people in the audience that first of all, they didn't knew what is Gutenberg at all, or after, because as you probably remember, Gutenberg, during its first phase, got a lot of bad press. So many people just remember that Gutenberg is this bad thing that is coming into WordPress. But, and that's true, that Gutenberg is the block editor that replaced TinyMCA. And I think it's a good thing because it totally changed the way we can edit content. I mean, now we have much more flexibility because before we just have this one text area in which we put everything, and editing it at some point was just a nightmare. And thanks to Gutenberg, every part is a bit separated. Every part is in its own block, and at some point we can change the order of it, or we can put a block into a block, which is also very useful. So overall, switching from TinyMCA to Gutenberg, I think was a great decision. The way it was introduced is a bit a different thing, but overall the decision was great. Also, and this was the thing about we talked during the presentation about Divi. Gutenberg is also standardizing the way we are saving content, because now we have a lot of page builders, and each page builder saves its data in a bit different way. Some will use metadata, some will use a lot of shortcodes, and at the point when we'll decide, okay, we don't want to use, for example, Elementor anymore, we want to switch to Divi or in some other way, we'll have a lot of sometimes shortcuts or anything that won't work anymore. So in theory, we can change one page builder into another, but we have to either use some importers and exporters, or we just have to rewrite the whole page. Thanks to Gutenberg, in theory, overall, we should be able to make such a switch without any problems. So today I will talk about creating custom blocks, but first let's start how to create a custom block in the React way. So is creating such a block simple? There is a great library, it's called Create Guten Block, and it should help us create a new block. And as we can read from the README, it doesn't need any configuration, and we can create block in minutes. So I read it and I said, okay, I'll try, because if it's so simple, probably I'll manage in few or minutes or probably hours, and the installation was really quite easy. I just first ran the npx create Guten block, then I went to the new folder, ran npm start, everything was great. The whole structure was created. There was PHP files that included all the blocks in this plugin. There was all the JavaScript, all the CSS, like everything. So okay, I think I'm really close. And yes, I was just 2 steps away from creating my own block. First thing is, sorry, we have to learn React. Without it, you don't have any chance to go any further. But when you learn React, so probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks later or more, you can start building your own block. So as you see, if you want to jump on this Gutenberg train quite swiftly, but you don't know React, it may be a problem. Also, this is the code of the Hello World block that is one of the examples in this Create Guten block. It doesn't look too friendly. I mean, for most of the times, the Hello World example should be friendly. So you should look at it and say, okay, it looks simple enough. I think I'll manage. And when I saw this, I was, oh no, I probably won't manage. But still, even if you decide to use some third-party tools or something else, remember, at some point, learn at least basics of React. Why? Because only thanks to React, you will have a chance to use full potential of Gutenberg's full potential. And this is, and I mean, when you learn React, the sky is the limit. I don't know if you remember, but at some point, the AMP stories were built based on Gutenberg. They managed to do this, and it was working. They switched at some point, but it was possible. So if AMP stories were possible to be created based on Gutenberg, I mean, like almost everything is possible. On the other hand, you won't be dependent on any plugins or libraries, because at some point, their authors can say, okay, I don't want to develop this plugin anymore. I have enough. And knowing React, you don't have to worry about such things. But on the other hand, it's also not so necessary, because I worked at a web agency for many years, and to be honest, from the backend point of view, the thing that we most often done was first putting the data in the admin panel and then showing it on the front end. So it's not something, it's not rocket science. It's not anything so complicated that you should start learning a new language just to do such simple operation. And here where some tools come in, like ACF blocks. We also have carbon fields. We have lazy blocks, block slabs, and there are many more of similar tools. So there are alternatives of using this pure React approach. Thanks to ACF blocks, you can do almost exactly what you could using normal ACF, but within a block. And one of the most important things about using blocks is a possibility to have a real-time preview of each block in the admin panel. I think that this is one of the most interesting things that were created in Gutenberg. And for me, I remember that most of our clients started asking less questions than before, because they just used, they weren't afraid to experiment or to try. So they just clicked, they saw the preview, and that's all. And because of that, it overall makes your clients happy, because everything is just working. On the other hand, it has some limitations. For example, the thing that I miss the most in ACF is in terms of user interface. For example, in pure Gutenberg, we can do many cool stuff about using the sidebar. We can use all these interesting small pop-up menus over the text. So overall, there are many user experience stuff that is missing in ACF, because in ACF, like in normal advanced custom fields, we just have a form that we fill, and that's all. Also, there is some Gutenberg features that are missing. I mean, Elliot is doing everything he can to keep up with normal Gutenberg, but still, I mean, at this moment, the biggest thing that is missing for me is the lack of block transformation. So if we create one block, and we would like to change it into another, we just have to add the new one, copy the data, and remove the first block that we had. And in normal Gutenberg, there is a possibility to transfer one block into another, and the data is copied from it. And this is really great. But on the other hand, many things are already there. So for example, we have block patterns, we have block variations, and so on and so on. So it's not that like 50% or something or more is missing. It's just 5 or 10% of the features. But there is one problem. Gutenberg is changing really swiftly. I mean, when Gutenberg was created, we were talking about that it will be a content editor. Now we are talking that it will be a page builder. So yeah, it's evolving, and it's evolving very fast. And every library, every plugin will be a step behind, and maybe at some point, some plugin authors may realize, okay, we constructed our plugin in a wrong way, and that we won't be able to keep up with normal Gutenberg. So you always have to have it in your mind that it may happen. It doesn't have to, but it may happen. Also, if you are not yet having the ACF Pro license, then you can't use ACF blocks. It's only included in the professional version, and it's not very expensive, but it costs money. So Okay, so now I will show you how to create a blog. This is example page of some travel agencies, and we have a list of locations with a trip price and some short description. And so the first step we will have to do is to use an action called ACF init. We connect our function called myACF init to it, and then using the function ACF register block type, we just register a new block. This is it's almost the same as using the pure WordPress function for registering new block types. In it, we just put some parameters called like name, title, description. They are quite self-explanatory. Render callback. This will be the function that will render the block itself. Then we have category, icon, and keywords. This is, like I said, exactly the same parameters as the WordPress function uses. If you would like to see what more parameters we have, you can go to advanced custom fields.com, and there is a list of all the possibilities of this function. Okay, now it's time to let's take care of our render callback. So we will have this function, and this function will have 3 parameters. The most important is block. In this block, you will get all the data that is passed with each block. Also, there will be an block ID and so on. But one of the content is always empty, but the most important, and I think this is a very interesting parameter, is preview. Because we can create a totally different experience for the front-end version of our blog and for the admin panel version of our blog. I will talk a bit more about it later, but keep it in mind, this is really useful, and you will probably use it very often because it's really useful. And this is the code of the block itself. And as you see, it's using the function called deField and the name of our variable. So if you ever used ACF, this is exactly the same experience as using ACF outside of the block. And the last thing is when you will create the field group, at the bottom of it, you see that location we are setting the block is equal to, and the name of our block. And at this point, we have our block created. It should work, but as you see, it looks a bit different from what I have shown you on the screen a few slides earlier. Why? Because first of all, we didn't add any styling, and also the JavaScripts weren't working, but because of the lack of styling, you probably didn't saw that the JS is also missing. So let's start fixing it. Let's start with using very familiar functions like WP-enqueue style and WP-enqueue script to add missing CSS and JS file. We use it in action called enqueue block editor assets. It will enqueue those files only in admin panel, only when the block editor is launched. So exactly when we want it. There is also another way. We can use it during the registration of a block type using those two parameters, enqueueStyle and enqueueScript. There is no better or worst way to do it. It just depends on how you separate your styles. Because if you have one style, one big CSS file for all the blocks, using the way shown a slide ago is a bit better. But if each block has its own CSS and has its own JS, this way will be a bit better. There are some things you should remember when adding CSS or JS into the block editor. Remember, it's not TinyMCA, because TinyMCA had one really great thing. It was an iframe. And because it was an iframe, all the CSS and all the JavaScript was isolated inside of it. With Gutenberg, it's not. So if we'll try to style something global, like body, like HTML, like headings, we will style the whole admin panel, not just our block. Also, this is a small UX tip, but it's also very, very, very important. When you're using some links inside of your blog, remember to make them non-clickable, because it's so annoying when by accident you will click on some link and it will redirect you outside of the admin panel. So just remember to make them non-clickable. You can do it with CSS. There is one rule for it. And I mentioned before about using Is Preview. This is one of the examples when to use it, because if you will be using some third-party API, or let's say Google Maps or something like this, it's not so important for the person who will be filling some data inside of the admin panel to have this, for example, Google Maps fully working. Better mock this map, or just save the image or something. Just don't ask for the real results from API. It's not needed. Also, one thing that we learned, it's a good practice to wrap your div or section or whatever you will wrap your block with some class name. We have a small framework called Sasquatch. So this is why our class is called Gutenberg Sasquatch block, because it's in Gutenberg, it's our framework, and it's a block. And this is an example how we create this editor as CSS. We import all the needed things inside of this Gutenberg Sasquatch block, and then our CSS is created, and we are 100% sure that it won't affect anything outside of our blocks. Okay, so we have all the CSS working. Now it's time for some JavaScript. We already enqueued them, so the JavaScript is there, but it still won't know when to launch, because using Gutenberg, we can switch the mode from we have two modes, preview and this form. So we should inform our script to launch each time when we switch into the preview mode. At the beginning, it was a bit, it was hard to do, but from some point, Elliot added this great action called render block preview, and it means that every time we click on the preview button, all the scripts inside will be launched. So it's very easy, and it should work for you every time. Okay, so we have the CSS, we have the JavaScript, and it's alive. It's working as it should. As you see, the preview is showing with the CSS. the JS in our example, we were using Packery. It's also working. The blocks are having the correct layout, so it's really great. Also, we have a possibility to change mode from grid to full width, and it's also working. So our block is working correctly. And the things, so as you see, creating a block thanks with ACF is really simple. I mean, it's not even a hard thing. It's a bit, it's also only a bit annoying, and also only at the beginning when you start doing it, is remembering about all the CSS stuff, all the JS, adding some events and so on. But overall, it's really simple. But even, I know I said it once, but I have to repeat it. Gutenberg is in very active development, so there may be a situation when ACF blocks will stop working after some update, and you have to keep it in mind. And every time you will update your WordPress, you have to be double sure to check if everything is still working correct, because it may break. Also, there's one interesting fact, because I read an interview with one of the creators of 2020 theme, and someone asked the question about how do you deal with all the constant changes in Gutenberg in terms of styling? And the creator responded in a way that a bit surprised me. To be honest, I don't. I just wait until someone just posts an issue that something is not working anymore, and I'm fixing it. So this is exactly showing how Gutenberg is changing very fast and sometimes a bit unpredictable. So have it in mind. Also, remember about those limitations of user interface. I mean, ACF has a lot of tools in which we can deal with it. There are tabs, there are accordion menus, and so on. But every time we have to show a lot of data inside of the block, we have to spend some time thinking how to do it in the best way. Using pure Gutenberg, for sure, we would have much more possibilities to deal with it, but also we would have to learn React. So either we will spend a bit more time learning and thinking how to plan our forms, or we will have to learn React. It's really up to you. And there is one more thing. As you remember at the beginning of creating the block in ACF, there is a bit of code that you will have to repeat each time, all the creating of these functions, these callbacks. And I was also doing it at some point. I said, okay, it's boring. It's really boring. I don't want to do it anymore. So I created a small library called Timber ACF WP blocks. For those who don't know what Timber is, there is one PHP framework called Symfony, and in it there is a great template engine called Twig. And Timber is a Twig implementation for WordPress. It separates data and logic from the view part of our code. It's really great, and when you start using it, you will probably wonder why you didn't done it for like since always. And using this library, it should look familiar to you, because title, description, category, those are the parameters that were used in this function register ACF block type. So you just put it in the command, and in the block itself, you just use fields dot, and there is the name of the variable you are using, and that's all. This is all. This is creating block in this library. If you don't want to use Twig and Timber because you just don't like it, there's an alternative. You can use either, there's either the way to use it with Sage, and Sage is using the Blade template engine, or Kuba Mikita created a version for pure PHP. So it's up to you which version do you prefer. And that's all. Do you have any questions?
Wow, this is amazing. Maybe I should just interrupt the silence. Actually, when you mentioned blocked into a block, I remember Olga trying to put a block in a block and explaining the difficulties of what she encountered before. So
yes. Because it wasn't so simple. It wasn't so simple. It was also a long road before it started working as it should. So that's true.
Have we helped you with this presentation? I mean, were you aware of all of these changes, or you've learned something new today? Olga.
Oh my gosh, sorry. It was a long day. You know, I tried this plugin to create blocks. I made one. Actually, it was before group blocks was appeared. And after this, I stick with group blocks and delay on this further development. It's a really interesting approach how it can be handled. I just wonder if you can search on this content and it is saved in the database, or it's a dynamic ones, and you will be able to find data which is placed in these ACF blocks.
So, because using ACF, we can deal, first of all, using ACF blocks, it saves content in the post content part, not in the metadata, in the meta. So this is the first and the biggest difference between like the normal ACF approach and this one. But sometimes we would like to store it also in the meta, just to search for some stuff in a bit different way. But then we would have to use some extra filters or actions just to double save some data. But yes, everything is searchable. The only thing I remember there is a problem, but this is more of a Gutenberg problem rather than ACF. It's with WP-CLI, I saw there is an issue about search replace and about some Gutenberg data, because if I remember, it's with URLs, because all this data is serialized in the post content, and by default WP-CLI doesn't think that the stuff in post content can be serialized, and this, from what I know, this is the only bug. But apart of it, everything should be normally searchable, and it should just work.
Serialized data in post content, it's a big surprise, really.
Yes, because this is the way how Gutenberg stores. It's also not ACF way; it's just Gutenberg way. Create some block, even those by Gutenberg itself, and open PHPMyAdmin and take a look how post content looks like, because lots of data is now stored in the post content. It's all because As we all know, WordPress is a bit paranoid in terms of backwards compatibility. I mean, I don't know there is any other CMS that cares so much about backwards compatibility. And during creating of Gutenberg, they weren't sure if it will work as it should. So one of the most important things about Gutenberg was, if at some point we'll decide to stop developing Gutenberg because we may hit some problems and decide just to stop developing it and like go back to TinyMCA or switch to some other editor, every user should be able to see their data in a normal way. That's why everything is stored in the post content.
Thank you very much. Seriously, I hope we at least tackled a couple of interesting things today. Is there anything else anyone would like to add, other than that React is not something that they would like to learn, but is there something else that we could add? Christopher?
No, it was all very clear. I spaced out. Oh. I did. It was clear though. Like, I'm here in support more than anything else. It was really good. Fair play. It was very detailed.
I always wonder because in most situations I have only a few questions after the presentation, and sometimes I wonder, are my presentation not clear, or just I am
No.
explaining everything that good, so I'm never sure.
It was clear, it was concise, it was well delivered,
Right.
It was good. Fair play, yeah. It certainly was.
It said Christopher, so.
Mm-hmm.
I had previously problem with ACF Block Pro when people made templates and put these custom fields in template, and there was a need to make MP for for speed, and turns out that I was need to recreate each template for MP.
Oh,
It was a bummer.
Yes, I remember. And you are probably talking about flexible content, the way of creating templates in it. Yes, but this is also a bit of a, not only ACF problem, but I would say it's a bit of a problem of converting template. It doesn't matter was it ACF or just any other, into AMP, because AMP has so many strict rules, and many developers, when creating like, let's call it normal templates, just didn't care about. And when you at some point have to, for example, add AMP to your website, you will see all the problems piling up. Then this was the thing that probably you encountered. So again, I think it's not overall the ACF problem. It's just the problem that ACF gives, let's call it a total freedom, and sometimes this freedom may lead to some problems.
Thank you very much.
I wonder if this better block approach is better.
Sorry, once.
I think if there will be such problems with these blocks or not, or they are quite compatible.
There can be, because we have we have a total freedom of how we'll create our code, and if we'll create our code in the way that will be non-AMP compatible, it will be still non-AMP compatible. From what I remember, the new versions of AMP plugin gives us also lots of filters that let us like change in flight some part of our template into the AMP version. But to be honest, I didn't work with AMP for a while, and I know it's also evolving. And but this is what I saw, because I was looking at their code, and I remember that there were some functions about changing 2020 and some other default themes into AMP compatible. Take a look at the AMP plugin core code. This is really an important and quite interesting stuff there, because there are filters that just change parts of the code into AMP compatible parts of the code. For example, if I remember, the problem was with images, for example. But overall, the best way to have a 100% AMP compatible template would be to create the site from scratch that would be always compatible with AMP, not by transformations, just it's always AMP compatible. But I know it means that sometimes you would have to start from zero.
Thank you, Maciej. Miguel, do you have anything to add?
No, just a very short feedback. Also, as Christopher said, the presentation was very concise, and it was giving me a couple of useful tips. Now, I know I'm not a developer, but I trust myself to play a little bit with PHP and HTML. So now I have a couple of clues and tools to where to start with when using ACF. So, and I'm trying to make my own blog. So let's see. Thank you very much, Maciej.
I really hope you'll manage to play with ACF and it will work fine. If you remember, I'm on Twitter. I think that you already.
Yeah,
yes, we already. Yeah. So if you have something ready, don't forget to. Yeah. To
thank
share.
you very much.
I have a question. In ACF, you can export the settings and the blocks you make. Can you export also ACF blocks to another WordPress theme?
Yes, because this is also one thing, because in theory we should have our blocks as plugins. This is like the way that Automatic says that we should do it. But we can also keep the settings of each block inside of our theme. So we can, for example, and as you said, keep in our theme the settings of ACF and our blocks with their settings. So you can store everything in the theme.
Thanks.
No problem.
We have another question in the chat. That other website has to have ACF Pro installed, otherwise blocks won't work. So, Jacob, would you like to actually say something about this, or you just want Maciej to respond? You're trying to unmute yourself, right?
Yes, I am. I'm just having problems, technical difficulties. Yeah, so you can transfer blocks from one website to another, but that other website also has to have ACF Pro installed. Otherwise, the code won't work.
Yes, of course.
That's that.
Of course, you are totally right. I think I even mentioned about it that ACF Pro is always required. Yes, so even if you transfer blocks or something, you also have to have the Pro version. So this is the only downside, and I'm not sure is there any lifetime license anymore, because I had this luck that I have my lifetime license from many years and I'm still using it.
Lucky him, right? Yeah, correct. I believe he's lucky. Do you guys have any other comments or questions regarding ACF blocks? I believe not, because we didn't have anyone. Maciej, thank you very much for your presentation. I would kindly ask you if you can stop sharing the screen so we can move to the second part of the program.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you very much. I mean, we still have a game to play. I just want to mention again, for the people who are the first time with us, this is GoDaddy Pro EMEA Meetup. If you don't have a clue what GoDaddy Pro is, GoDaddy Pro is a set of tools, a dashboard that actually helps you to save time and better manage your clients and websites. I'm sharing in the chat with you perhaps a link that you might want to take a look at it if you want to save some time for yourself, and especially nowadays it's still summer before we all get locked up in the winter time. There is also what I would like to say next week. Our topic is going to be WordProof. I don't know if you've heard of a startup, now already a company called WordProof, about verifying content and getting a stamp for it. And European Union just invested $1 million in this company in order to actually work with companies that are putting the truth online. So it's something very interesting, which I'm sure you might be actually not knowing still about it, but we will spread the word about it. In the meantime, before all of these great things happen, here's our new game. I hope you're able to see it now already. Today we have a very interesting topic. I think you're gonna like it. If you'd like to join the game, please use either another browser separate from this one and go to kahoot.it and just enter the pin. You might want to leave your Twitter handle or perhaps your nickname or name, whatever. And today's prize is $30 again, Amazon voucher, what we're giving away. And we will see who has the fastest finger today. So far we have 3 contestants, so you will be reading the questions from the Zoom screen, and then you will be answering in the colored boxes either on your device or in a different browser. So start making sure that you see both browsers properly, or that your device is on. Another thing is that in case you get disconnected for some reason or your screen locks, you can just refresh and continue the game. So Meher's here, Olga's here, Miguel is here, Željko, Seven Strel. I'm trying to read properly the nicks. I might be actually losing off. The Wanderlust bug, I already know who that is. We had this player last time. Lokesh, we'll see how lucky you are today. And here's Christopher. And I believe that's it, because I'm not playing. I made the game. So, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. It's called, this country is country ID. You will get the map of the world and you will guess the country. So which country is this? Germany, Hungary, Austria, Russia. All right, everybody got this right. So we all know where Germany is. That's +1. I knew that as well. Let's see who's the first one. Željko is the first one, followed by Christopher, Miguel, the Wanderlust bug, and Seven Strel. Let's see, move on to the next one. Second country. Which country is this? Germany, France, Austria, Russia. I believe we're not gonna have problems answering this question. All right, it was France. Somebody actually misread what is red and what is blue, I believe. Željko still in the lead, Miguel following, bravo Miguel, and Christopher in 3rd place. Moving to the third one. Which country is this? I believe everybody knows this one, right? I mean, let's see, one more answer. Someone's late. All right, 8. That's it, Italy. Okay, Lokesh seems to have fixed the mouse or has a faster finger this time. Let's move to another one. So Germany, Italy, Austria, Spain. I believe there are many of us who would like to at least spend some time in Spain, unlike Christopher, who has been living there all his life mostly. Spain. Let's see. All right. Jelko is still in the lead. Miguel is 2nd place and Christopher in the 3rd place. Next. And this country is actually not that hard to guess. Correct.
That's not right, though.
From a point of view of geographical distinction?
That was Scotland, Ireland, and that was Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England.
Mm-hmm. I will talk to the people of Kahoot and tell them that you have an objection.
Could you please write them a stern letter?
Sure, I will. I will do my best actually to speak to them and send your complaint. Shall I leave your email to contact you?
By all means, yes, please do.
Yes, I will do that. All right, so let's see who is in the lead. Jelko still, but Miguel is so fast and just following him. All right, let's see next. And then Wanderlust Bug is also very close. It's a tight battle. These first 5 people are like maybe just 10 points away from each other. Okay, which country is this? It's getting harder, all right?
I think I clicked the wrong button.
Okay, that's gonna be luck for someone. So it's Syria. Did you get Syria or you press something else?
Click the wrong button.
Okay. And look what this wrong button did to you. Actually, you disappeared from the first page totally. All right, Jelko is still in the lead. Seems that Jelko is going to be very lucky tonight, but let's see. Which country is this? Okay, so Russia, Syria, Poland, and Ukraine. All right, Maciej, this question was...
This was a very simple one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you knew it, right?
Of course.
All right, and we also have a chat. Someone's writing. No. Okay, Jelko, you didn't press the right one, right? Okay, Jelko's gone. And Strel is on the lead, and Miguel following, and Palmia just behind him. Okay, there was some, you see, the moment first tricky question came in, lots of people moved from the first page. So let's go. Which country is this? Ukraine, Poland, Russia, Romania. I know, which isn't. Oh, Ukraine. Ukraine is the right answer. Let's see who won. Oh, Miguel is just taking the lead for 1 point. For 1 point only. So this is going to be so tricky. Let's move to the next one. Which country is this? Hungary, Bismarck, Germany, Austria. Somehow it's connected, right?
The Bismarck.
I mean, yeah, I mean, through the history. All right, let's see that Miguel is leading and Christopher and Jelko are not even close. All right, let's see, maybe Miguel will not know something and then you will get an open space for a new winner. Which country is this? This should be easy. Russia, Turkey, Ukraine, Syria. All right. Let's see who. Okay, there is no change on the table, actually. Miguel is still first. Let's see. The concentration. Which country is this? Okay, now, these are kind of difficult ones. Because you can easily, okay, we have a message in a chat. Yeah, Jelko got it, right? So let's see who that was. Yeah, but Jelko not enough because Miguel is just on the streak. Which country is this? Sweden, Norway, Finland, Poland. Well, we know what it's not, right? Okay, so it's been a Sweden. And wow, nice work. Let's move to the 13th question. Which country is this? Syria, Albania, Greece, Georgia. Okay, Greece, correct. Don't know about you guys, but I love Greece, seriously. Let me see the chat. Not a clue. Yeah, Miguel is just a world traveler. Miguel, have you been to Greece?
Yeah, I have been many times. I can't even speak some Greek, so.
Okay, which country you don't know where it is? So we put it next time in a quiz because you're just killing it.
Let's put Malawi or something like this.
Okay, next time I will know to make it even more difficult because this seems to be your territory fully. Let's move to the next question. Which country is this? Spain, Poland, Portugal, Prussia. I was so hoping to see this country this year, and then I was told I'm gonna be in this country next year for VCU, and then I was told I'm not gonna be there even next year. So
Exactly the same here.
yeah, it's crazy, right? I was hoping 2 times now, and then the 3rd time they just said it will not happen there. The next question. Hungary, Austria, Czech Republic, Slovakia. Yeah, this is kind of a tricky question. All right. Let's see if we have, okay, Jelko is climbing up. There's a change on the board. Jelko is climbing up. 16, 6 more questions to go. Ukraine, Finland, Mexico, Russia. I believe everyone knows this. All right, correct. Somebody hit the wrong button. I can see that. All right, Miguel, guys, you either prepare yourself and start pressing the answers before the question even comes up, or I don't know what's the cure for Miguel, okay? Now, this is Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland. Okay, we can exclude one for sure, but then out of these 3, amazing. Amazing, amazing. I can see that almost Maciej is winning this game. Let's go. Which country is this? Belarus, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Wow, divided opinions. Oh, Miguel, you were just there, close to the winning. All right, let's move. Let's try to see what we can do here. Which country is this? Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland. Divided opinions again. So it was Lithuania. And the score goes bravo. Well, guys, now you have to actually chase Maciej. Which country is this? Spain, France, Czech Republic, Hungary. one answer missing, so somebody actually gave up on answering. So it's Czech Republic. 21st question. This is Georgia, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan. What is it, Maciej? You missed it. Oh! Oh, there's gonna be a change on the board. Oh my God, let me see how is that going to look like. Oh, not yet. No change yet. There is the last question, okay? So there is a big fight between Miguel and Maciej. So last question will decide. Get ready. So Turkey, Russia, China, Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. So let's see who won. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen and see it first for myself and then give you guys to bid.
Yay.
So Olga is in the third place. Bravo, Olga. I like that you were climbing. Miguel is second there.
Oh.
Miguel, I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened to you in the last round, but.
No, it was just an idiomatic mistake. Latvia and Lithuania. I'm not used to think on the name of the country in English, so that's why.
I agree, because we also have a different way how we call those countries. Although they call themselves, for instance, Latvia, we call it Litva. So it's totally...
Exactly, we have the same. And I also had to be careful because it's easy to mistake Lithuania with Latvia for us.
Yeah, I mean...
True story.
I hope.
But it was exciting. It was very exciting, even like for the last one.
Well, what to tell you guys? It was really great to see you. There is another thing what I want to share with you, as we have a promotional offer for WooCommerce and managed WordPress hosting. I will share with you in the chat just in case you are looking for something like that combo. I'm just going to share with you our offer. The offer is each month $1 a month for both for the package, so it would be interesting for you to. And what else to tell you? Until next Monday, I wish you all the best.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Ciao, thank you very much.